What's the longest you could talk about a single topic?
Oh, I mean, 6 hours, 12 hours probably.
6 to 12. Like, what would you talk about?
Like, I could talk about baseball, and then you could break it down into seasons, teams, players, achievements.
I could probably talk about the most powerful superheroes in comic books. And go through a definitive ranking of them and probably talk at least an hour about that.
Thanos.
No, Thanos is not one of the most powerful characters in Marvel Comics, ultimately. You have the one above all, you have the one below all, you have the Living Tribunal, you have cosmic entities like Eternity. You have some really powerful characters that are above Thanos, and it depends on different characterizations above him. Now, if we're talking about Thanos with the heart of the universe, that's one of the most powerful characters. Thanos with the Infinity Gems is not quite as powerful as Thanos with the heart of the universe. Like, I could probably talk about the most powerful characters in Marvel Comics for at least an hour.
Well, that's been an hour. All right, everyone. Have a great day.
You could just talk about sports. I polled the audience about this.
Sure. Absolutely could.
Okay. So I polled the audience. What's the longest you could talk about a single topic? The choices were less than 15 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes, 30 minutes to an hour, and more than an hour. Everyone has voted for more than an hour. So 100% of people say they could talk about a single topic for more than an hour.
No matter who you are, you love something, right? You love something to the point to where you could just not stop talking about it.
Oh, yeah. I would say there's actually probably half a dozen things that I could talk about for an hour straight.
I think a better question is, what topic could you talk about for an hour that no one else could?
I could talk about the various differences between mountain bike parks and trails in the Seattle, Washington area for an hour.
Exactly.
And I don't think a lot of people could talk about that. There's certainly some people who could talk about that. Still probably thousands. I could talk about the ins and outs of the Peloponnesian War.
Yeah, see, no, we're done.
I know a lot about the Peloponnesian War.
I say that, though, and I could talk to you about submarines from World War II, so...
Right, it's amazing all the things that you can, like, get really into.
Yeah. All right, let's give some shout-outs here. Shall we? Shout-outs. Outs. All right, Isabella Boyd. Albert Pupa. Pretty sure it's Papua, but I screwed that up, so I'm sorry.
How do you spell
Albert.
it? How do you spell Albert Pupa?
Pupua. Definitely screwed that one
probably
up.
like Papua, Papa. I don't think it's Pupa. God, that's a terrible last name.
It's a terrible last name.
Yeah.
But sorry, Albert Papua. Christina Duwan. Brendan O'Shanahan. Jack Almighty Evans. Jeremy Adams. Brian Gorman. Jeff Bogarich. Carmen Doe. And we're going to end here with Zachariah. Not gonna even try that one.
Like,
it's
amazing. It's amazing to me for the length of time that we have been doing the shout outs, and you have not really gotten better at it at all.
Not even a little bit. Some of it though is like I have the different apps open. I'm just picking names, right? And then YouTube does a really shitty job of showing people's display names.
It's always somebody else's fault.
So,
this is why you're not getting better about it, because you're trying to pass the buck to somebody else. You're not taking accountability. You know what, though? But if we're talking about things that we have not gotten better at, I have been working out and lifting weights since I was 16. So we're talking 20 plus years. And I haven't improved at it in probably 15 years. I don't think I've gotten any physically stronger in 15 years.
And that sounds like a you problem.
Can you think of anything that you have been doing for a long time and have not improved at it at all?
Just work in general?
Yeah.
I feel like my job is pretty streamlined and yeah, you learn new things and you do new things, but have I really gotten better at it? I don't know. I don't think so.
I can actually say that I probably haven't made significant improvements to anything that I do in the last 10 to 15 years. Whether it's work, personal relationships, working out, things that I do, I don't really think that I've made significant improvements in any of them in any way. in the last 10 to 15 years. I've made small improvements, but you hit an age and the era of big improvements in doing something is like over with. Like now it's just baby steps.
I actually think I probably have gone backwards on things than frontwards.
Oh, yeah, I would agree with that.
Like,
I've gotten worse at most things that I do.
Like, yeah, I don't think I've gone forward on anything, really. Personal-wise, professionally, I can't think of anything, really.
I'm more efficient. I can do the same job in less time, but I'm not doing a better job.
Yeah, that's like, I'm smarter and I think and more effective in the way I do certain things, but it doesn't mean that I've gotten better at it. Like, you know, I've decreased everything. It just sucks getting old. That's the sentence. It just sucks getting old, period.
My oldest beat me at something for the first time, and my youngest, we play Wii Sports, we play Wii Volleyball, and I can't beat him. I legitimately cannot beat him. And he's 5 years old, and we're playing Wii Sports Volleyball, and I'm trying, and I can't beat him. I can't beat him. He's better than me.
Do you work up a little sweat playing Wii Volleyball?
Oh, I try to cheat. I try to, distract him. I try to get in his head, and he beats me. I've got nothing for him. And not that you played a 5, and he's beating me 5-2, 5-3.
Not even close. Just
not even close. Just stomping me. I try to cheat it so I get to go first. I try to cheat the system so that my partner is better because you play with a CPU partner, and can't get him.
Well, good on him, man. Maybe you got a future sand volleyball player in your household.
It's Wii Sports, man.
You know. All right. Well, in this week's RIP edition, I feel like we have to get some kind of shout out to the Pope.
Oh yeah, man. You don't realize, I feel like that's a person that you don't realize how worldwide famous that they are. That everybody kind of knows who the Pope is.
Yeah. I mean, probably one of the, if I had to list it, probably top 5 most known person in the world.
Yeah. He seemed like a decent dude. I'm not a religious person, but seemed like a nice guy or something.
I do think the way they elect a Pope is a little archaic. I don't think they have to take cardinals and put them into a hotel where nobody can talk to them for 2 or 3 days. Where I've always envisioned that just being a wild bachelor party experience, which it probably is nothing.
No, dude, it's a bunch of religious people. They're not having strippers and cocaine over there. It's a bunch of cardinals. I mean, you can make the jokes that you want to, but I think that it's not like they're doing blow and banging chicks all day.
But how great would it be?
Sequestered, bachelor party, Pope's Gone Wild.
I just envision, they do whatever they need to do for 2 hours, and then it's all right, Jerry, bring the girls in. Who's doing the coke?
It's bring in the just doing rails. Pope innocent no more.
Yeah, right.
It's tradition. It's tradition.
Well, it got me thinking, that's one of the most traditional things that we still do as the human society, I think. There's not a lot of things have stood the test of time, like the Papal conclave.
Papal.
I know it's kind of being half funny, but yeah, Papal conclave.
Did you really think it was Papal?
Nope.
Yeah, you didn't know what it was. Papal. I only know this because I've been watching Conclave.
How is okay? I get. Well, no one cares, but yes or no? Good movie, bad?
It's worth it.
Okay.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
All right.
I like that kind of movie occasionally. I can't watch those dialogue heavy, not really any subtlety. It's just people talking to each other, intrigue kind of movies very often. But when I do watch them, I generally like them. I can handle those about once every 3 months.
Well, I'm trying to get through Oppenheimer, but it's a 3-hour movie, and I forgot what sitting through a 3-hour movie is like. So
it took me 3 days to watch a movie. I don't think that I have sat down and watched a movie from start to finish. I know I haven't done it since the movie Logan came out in 2017 or 16. That's probably the last time that I sat down and watched a movie from beginning to end.
I mean, it's not that surprising, but it's kind of you haven't watched any movies since then, in their entirety?
Nope, not just sitting there watching the whole movie. That's almost 8 years.
Yeah, that's a while.
It takes me generally 3 or 4 days to watch a movie.
Our podcast is almost as old as the last time you watched a movie.
Oh, God. Let's move on.
Let's see here. Would you rather be trapped underwater, not knowing you're going to survive, but you do, or fall out of an airplane and have your parachute not open until you're just within, like, distance of, hey, I'm going to hit the ground and die, but then your parachute opens and you survive?
So would I rather almost die drowning or almost die falling from the sky?
Yes.
Almost die falling from the sky. I don't want to drown. Being underwater really creeps me out. I don't really want to be underwater. I don't like to not have my feet on the ground, and I don't like to have my head underwater. I'd rather fall. How about you?
I feel like at least when you're in the water, you feel like you might have a little control. Like just a tad. When you're just free falling.
I can see that.
You're just free falling. It's like, well, my parachute's not opening. I guess I'm going to be literally staring at the ground as it gets closer, and then I'm just going to get pulverized.
Okay, if you were falling to your death, would you stare at the ground or would you turn around so you didn't see it? Would you stare at the ground or look at the sky if you were falling to your death?
Man, that's a toughie. I mean, I feel like human instinct would be to try to look down and see if there's any way to survive. But I mean, in a perfect world, if I know that I'm going to die, like if I knew it, I would want to go on my back. So I just felt the impact and then you're dead.
I think I would look at the ground until I got within like 100 feet to try to see if there was some way that I could survive. And then once I knew it was hopeless, I would turn around and look at the sky.
Yeah, well, anyways, these have been uplifting, topics.
I'm saying you got to be prepared in life. You got to know what you're going to do in that situation. Yeah, I would look at the sky. Would you land head first or feet first?
Head
if you were falling, head first. Yeah, I think I would go head first too. Just like, let's just make sure this is done.
Because knowing my luck, like I would break every bone up to like my ribs and survive or something.
You probably, if you fall that far, you probably kind of all hit at the same time anyway. It's not like, you're going to cushion the blow with your legs. God, that would just be so instantaneous. You'd just be smashed flat. Okay, all right. Happy thoughts. Good thing.
Yeah. Let's see. The Last of Us, getting off to a good start. Much scarier than the first season, I'd say, though.
Can't watch those kind of shows.
But you're watching
it's too scary,
Conclave,
man.
It's
too scary. It's too scary. If there's any kind of monsters, if there's any kind of, like, body horror, anything kind of, like, gross, I don't want to deal with anything that could really happen in life. And I don't know if I firmly believe this, but any of those kind of like post-apocalyptic movies, I can't watch those anymore because I start to think like, oh, that might actually happen now. Like, oh, that could happen.
I do think out of anything we've talked about or anything that people think could destroy the human race, zombies are probably the most realistic thing that could happen.
Oh, I think running out of water. I think drought would be the thing that would get us. I think that's the one that I'm like, ooh.
So I need to live in the Great Lakes, baby.
Oh, nobody wants to live there, John.
Are you sure? Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I am.
You say that so like, you know, I don't know what the word is. Like substantial. Like, yeah.
Unequivocally. Like, I'm not asking, I'm not suggesting, I'm telling.
For all of our sports fans out there, I feel like I have to say this because this was hilarious to me. Well, kind of sad, but also hilarious because I don't really care about this person. But NFL draft was this past weekend, and Shedeur Sanders, Deion's son, was supposed to go, probably first round-ish, late-ish into the second round. He didn't end up going until the fourth round to the Cleveland Browns.
I thought it was the fifth round.
Was it? It could have been the fifth.
I think it might have been the fifth round. But that's like one of those things. Imagine you're going to be like, for people who are not familiar with the NFL draft, this would be like asking somebody how many points they're going to score in a baseball game or how much money a movie is going to make, how much money their directorial debut as a movie is going to make. And they're like probably going to make $1 billion, at least $500 million, and it makes like $10,000. Like, this is probably the biggest miss ever in the NFL draft in terms of where someone thought they were going to go and where someone actually went.
Well, and now if you were correct, by the way, it was fifth round, but now he's the Browns just signed a pretty good veteran backup in Joe Flacco. They still have Deshaun Watson on the books for $100 million, and they have another guy named Kenny Pickett, who's not terrible, but he's been around a couple of years. So it's like, what Sanders could very easily be cut before the season even starts.
I have a big problem with all the sports talking heads who talk endlessly about things but really have no idea what they're talking about. Like, he's one of the best players in the draft. I'm like, well, they took him in the 5th round, so I don't think that he really is. Anyway.
Let's see. RFK officially said this week that we're going to be banning food additives, which is probably the only thing he said that I actually agree with.
I don't know anything about that stuff. I don't think anybody knows anything about that stuff, to be honest with you.
I mean, the best way I can describe it is that it's companies created artificial, chemically made, food dyes to give things colors, taste, blah, 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 instead of paying money to have the real ingredients to make whatever they needed to do. It was a cheaper way to mass produce and mass quantify product. But it's not good for you.
I just feel like with any of that kind of stuff, when we're talking about like scientific concepts, that most of the people talking about it don't seem to generally know what they're talking about. Like those kind of things is like Red 40 is toxic, and then like it's banned in other countries, and like, oh, actually no, it's not banned in other countries. They just call it something different than us, and they allow it too. And then you talk to like a food scientist, which we've had on this show before, and he's like, it's really not bad for you. It's fine.
I mean, it's like anything. It's in moderation, but from what I've read at least, 'cause I'm a scientist, naturally. But,
there's just such a disconnect, I feel like, with any of that health information between what's actually true and what's not true. And the problem is that we seem to only hear from the loudest voices that don't know what they're talking about.
No.
Which is awful.
No, come on now.
No. All right.
No. Let's see. And the last thing was really just kind of a dumb question for you, but are you for or against daylight savings time being gone forever?
What I am for is to stop talking about this. I am for not talking about daylight savings time. So whatever decision that we need to make so that it's not a thing and that we don't have to talk about it, I'm for that decision. I'm just sick of it. Can we just get rid of this thing? I don't feel like setting my clocks. I don't feel like changing my habits. I don't care. I just want it to be done.
Wow. Good. Great. I agree with you.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sick of it. I don't want to talk about daylight savings time.
Well, hopefully you want to talk about our top 5.
I'm just saying. I just want to make a decision and stick with it. Whatever decision it is, I just want the decision to be made. We're either doing it or we're not doing it.
That's not going to happen because this administration says something, and then 5 minutes later they go back on it. So it doesn't matter.
It's just the way that the world is. Okay, are you ready for our top 5?
I guess.
So our top 5 is top 5 things that we really like but don't want to admit. What's your number 5?
Processed foods.
Yeah,
I love a good hot dog or like McDonald's hamburger. Or, any kind of fast food, like, I love it. And if I could eat it and not have to worry about dying at the age of 45, I would have that forever. Those things for breakfast, lunch. I'd be eating sausage right now if I could.
Oh, I'm sure you would be. I love chemicals. Give me all the chemicals. Give me all the chemicals, all the genetically modified things. I want all of it. I want all the donuts, all the processed stuff, all the crap. Give me all the crap. And if it takes 5 years off my life and I die at 82 instead of 86 or 87, good. Good.
I mean, if someone could tell me when I was supposed to die and if I could take 5 years off doing it, yes, I would. Give me 10 years off maybe. Let's see how long I get.
Okay. How many years? Okay. If someone said, you can do what you want, but it's going to take this many years off your life, how many years would be acceptable to you? Like
5. I'd say 5 is a fair number.
Yeah. So like if somebody said, you can eat all the fast food that you want, but it's going to take this many years off of your life, you would go with 5 years.
Yeah, 3 to 5. I'd really have to think about it, but I'd be 3 to 5 for sure.
I would probably be in the 3 to 5 range. I'd be closer to 3, but I would do some things like that too. Like, there's not much of a difference in my mind of living between. There's a huge difference if it's 87 to 84. Like, that's not a wait. No, there's not a big difference if it's like 87 to 84, but there is a big difference if it's like 30 to 27. So if it was later in my life, I'd be okay with it. I'd be like, okay.
I could very well hit 40 and just say fuck it anyways. So
getting there. You're on a fast track. Okay. My number 5 is I watch Bluey at the gym. I watch Bluey when I'm at the gym. Like, I'll be on the elliptical, everybody else is watching Sports Center, the stock markets, and I'm watching Bluey.
That's it. I'm done. I quit.
I like Bluey. I'd rather watch Bluey. Everybody else watching Sports Center, watching the news. I'm over there just pumping away on the treadmill to Bluey.
I mean,
watching Dingo.
I was going to make fun of you with 2 things. One, I love Bluey as well, and I watch like World War II documentaries, so I can't say anything.
You're at the gym watching World War II doc. That's hardcore.
I mean, I just always, there are some things that pop up on the screen, like a certain kind of flag or something or symbol, and I always like tend to look around because I'm like, man, I hope someone's not looking at this and saying that, because I can only imagine what they would think.
Oh, I live in Seattle, and there's definitely certain stations that you can't watch. You can't have that on the TV for a second.
Yeah, no,
like,
for
you
sure.
You can't have that.
Yeah, and you probably shouldn't. What's
your number 4?
Collecting wrestling figures.
Yeah.
Not that I'm embarrassed by it, but for instance, we had a couple over, a couple weeks ago now, and we took them into the basement, and I have a display case with my wrestling figures, and I could just tell they were both like, what the fuck is this guy? Is he a fucking creeper?
Like, what's this guy doing? Oh, yeah, you can't show that on the first date. You can't, first couple date, you can't do that. It's a rookie mistake.
But whatever. I don't think it doesn't make you weird. It's just I don't like to admit it out loud.
I like to eat alone. I don't want to eat with anyone around me. I want to eat by myself with no one around me.
I am the same way. I didn't put it on the list, but I don't eat in front of people, which is often why I don't eat some days during the day.
Oh, I'll wait until basically my entire family goes to bed, and then I'll eat my dinner. Because I just want to eat in peace with nobody around me.
Yeah, I don't. That's it. I don't eat. Don't make any jokes to this. I don't, like, when I eat, like, I only have 1 or 2 meals a day, and I just like to enjoy them in peace and solitude. Like, I don't. I don't want anyone around me.
Like, do you want to go out to dinner? No, I don't. I don't want to go out to dinner. I want to get the dinner and then bring it home and then eat it when you leave me alone. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, you're up. You're right on there.
Okay.
My number 3 is actually kind of a weird one, but I like chewing my fingernails. I do. I'm a biter, man. I don't think I've used a nail clipper. I don't know. It's at least been 20 years.
I think that's a bad habit, though, right? Like, aren't you not supposed to be doing that?
Yeah, but not once has the dentist ever told me, hey, like, your teeth are getting this way because you bite your nails.
Oh, yeah. Don't you bite your toenails?
No, I just peel them off.
Oh, okay. That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like you shouldn't be doing that. Like, there you've gone too far, I feel like.
that does seem kind of weird.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that. Like, that doesn't seem good.
It's not that weird. It's not that weird. I swear.
Okay, sure. Keep telling yourself that. Yeah, there's a difference between something that, like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that because it's socially unacceptable versus something that's like farting in public really doesn't hurt anybody. Nothing's going to really happen to someone. It's not like somebody you're going to rip one and somebody's going to die. I mean, maybe it's probably happened. I wonder if there's ever been anybody who, like, died from smelling a fart. Like, they ran into a fart that was so bad they died.
Yeah, probably. There has to be. But then, like, how do you prove it? Of course, like,
Let's look this up.
like toxicity poisoning. Like, I don't know.
No. According to AI, it's not possible to kill someone with a fart. Like, no matter how bad the smell is or the gases from it, it's not considered possible. I mean, it maybe the rare combinations, but like, it's not in and of itself. Like, if you just did it in a room, it shouldn't be possible to kill someone.
It's just methane gas, anyways. Like,
I don't think yeah. My number 3 is I love to drink soda early in the morning. I will have a diet soda at 7 a.m. And it's my favorite thing. Lady. And people always judge me for it. To me, it's the same as coffee. They're like, you're having a soda at 7 o'clock? Yes, I am.
Yeah,
it's
but
the only reason I live. The only reason I get up in the morning is to have a soda in the morning.
But you don't drink coffee, right?
No, I don't drink coffee.
Yeah, so it kind of just replaces that, which is... Maybe I'll join you. Maybe I'll start doing that instead of drinking coffee.
I'm telling you, man, I love carbonation. Carbonation is my favorite nation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it took a minute, but it's good, right? Like, what's your favorite nation? Carbonation is my favorite nation.
Carbonation. All right. My number 2 is, I just like to play board games by myself.
I don't understand how you play it by yourself. Like, that's confusing to me. How do you play a board game against yourself knowing what you're going to do?
Well, I mean, like, we've talked about it from time to time. I like to play, like, tabletop sports games where you can control both teams. There's some other games that I have that are, like war games where you make decisions for, both sides, things like that. I don't think, honestly, there's anything better to me if I get it a free hour than to be able to do that. That is what I like to do.
My number 2 is I like to color.
You think your drawings are out of... You think they should be hung up in the Louvre in Paris?
Ooh, that's the one that I was going to go with. That's the only museum that I can name, too, that's like fancy, was the Louvre. Maybe the Guggenheim? I couldn't name any other. I couldn't name any other famous art museums.
Just make up anything, and I feel like the Schwarzkopf.
The Schnitzelblocker?
Yeah, like, nobody's going to know.
No one will. Well, I mean, someone will know. No, I love to color. I have a set of 120 paint markers that I use, and I like to color, and I love it. It's probably my favorite thing. It's relaxing. It's enjoyable. Stimulates the mind and body. Good family time. I love to color. Love it. Love it. Send me coloring books if you want to. It's number 1.
Loving a certain kind of music that I do.
Go on.
Specifically the boy band era.
You love boy band music?
I do love boy band. I love all the music from that era. Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Ja Rule, DMX, like from like 98.
DMX doesn't count. You love the 90s music.
Yeah, but I don't even know if I would classify that as 90s. That's like, what was it? The millennium music, I think they call it.
Oh, yeah, millennial, like late 90s, early 2000s era.
Like it's shit music. Like, it's not good, but...
It's terrible.
It's just, I don't know. There's, from the beats to just, I just love it.
I did it again. So will you just be like in your house by yourself, rocking out to Britney Spears?
Sometimes. I mean, whatever comes on. I mean, yeah.
Okay. I love talking to myself. I talk to myself far more than I talk to any other person. Probably more than I talk to any other groups of people combined. I ask myself questions. I answer them. I talk to myself constantly, and I love it.
Yeah, that sounds completely sane. So,
well, it's the only way I can have intelligent conversation.